your shit's insane. Obviously, you're insane. So I'm like a big fan. But how was it being in the spotlight so early at such a young age, starting YouTube? Do you feel like there's like a ton of pressure from that on your life?
It's kind of funny, like jumping into it at a young age. Like I was the biggest YouTube fan, so it was pretty normal, like throughout the last 5 years. And then I've only just like slowed down like mentally in the last like month and a half. Not like slowed down mentally, but like I've only just taken the slightest step back to start like understanding this whole space and like what I've even been doing the last 5 years. And I feel like it's now got overwhelming because of like just all like self-reflecting on all the things I've done. And like just in the last like few months, especially, like it's gotten more overwhelming. When I was in it doing it, I feel like I wouldn't call it like survival mode, but like I dropped out of high school. Every one of my most of my family was kind of like, what is this kid doing? Like, what are we going to do with this kid? So I was just like, go. Like, I'm going to prove everyone, kind of like my mindset was kind of like, I'm going to prove everyone wrong. So I was just grinding and I was just having so much fun. I was doing like everything I could ever dream of, like back to back to back. So it like wasn't overwhelming. And then as I've kind of taken the time to self-reflect, I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? Kind of thing. And I even have kind of some moments where I'm like, I almost like sometimes wish I just went to school and did like, you know, what you call like normal things. But obviously like, I obviously don't feel that way. Like, I'm so glad I've done the things I've done. But yeah, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I would feel like it'd just be, I don't know. Like I found it with social media. Like I feel like sometimes it gets like a lot keeping up all the stuff all the time. Like, but for YouTube, I guess you had a pretty fucking unreal life. Like you kind of, like your YouTube videos, like you do such a broad range of YouTube videos that it's not just set to one demographic. So you can just do, it's different all the time, I guess.
Yeah. And I suppose that could also be hard because you've got a lot of demographics watching you. I mean, like if you're just going towards like scooter kids, you know, you're like, okay, well that's just the people, but you know, you've got like business people and then like consistently kind of cars and just everything.
What's your funnest shit to do?
Yeah.
What's your funnest videos to shoot?
The funnest videos, like, I mean, I am all over the place as is. So, I mean, anything that I find fun in the moment. Yeah. Like I also just love making videos. So that's also why it's not been overwhelming. Like I really would not want to do anything else. Yeah. But I do find myself, I've kind of been in this like self-reflecting mode, and I've kind of realized the least fun videos to film are when you're comparing yourself to other people and then you find yourself making those videos because maybe that's like the newest, best thing to be doing. So I would say when I'm like trying to compare myself to, you know, the newest YouTube golden boy, which YouTube likes to, you know, put on a new golden boy, like kind of all the time with whatever fits their story kind of thing. So I feel like anything that's like true to myself and that I love, which is hanging out with people, anything with wheels. Like I love action sports and cars. Well, I would say wheels more than cars. Like even with that, I feel like I did get into cars a lot through like my friends. And then also that started working on YouTube. So I kind of then fell into that like niche also in itself. I mean, like the GTRs back there. Yeah. So the car videos even at some point kind of become less fun to film sometimes. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like the best kind of videos are just whatever is the most fun in that time span for the moment. You know what I mean? So
definitely
kind of always evolving.
There's one thing I want to ask with that. Do you film everything, or do you film and then you get to a point where you're like, okay, like now the fun really starts and we can't put that on camera? Or do you just film the whole way through?
In the beginning days when I was doing like daily vlogs and videos every other day, it was like there was no moment that like wasn't filmed. Like I was talking about like life tragedies and what I was eating for breakfast and who I was dating. But now that's also like I love doing that. So then more recently I've been like not filming near as much as everything. I have like the online like club subscription thing. So that's a lot more raw and behind the scenes. But really now or at least I'm on like a kind of like a YouTube break right now. Like I haven't made a video in like 30 days, which is like really long for me. And
Why is that?
What was your question? To wrap that up?
It was just quickly like, when you're filming, do you get to a point where you're like, okay, like now the fun's really going to start, we're going to turn the cameras off because you might do some stuff that can't be on film, or do you just film the whole way through when you're shooting and just kind of like, oh, fuck it, if we get on camera, we get on camera?
Oh, sorry. I kind of went off on a different tangent. I get what you're saying. When I'm filming, it's like film everything and then cut out and use the best parts.
Yeah.
Usually. So when I am filming a video, it's like I try to capture everything because you never know when like someone's going to say something or like I'm going to do something, or so I try to keep the camera on, and then there's like 5 revisions of the video, and I chop it down and cut the parts out I don't want in it. Yeah.
That's what you do anyways. I guess you'd like vlog your whole day, then you'd edit the parts out you want for certain parts of content.
Yeah, I just more so meant like if you start like, you know, when you're doing a car video and you start to get a bit crazy on the road sort of thing, if you're like, okay, we'll just cut the cameras and...
Well, it's not live anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. But I definitely feel like I've filmed less in the last 2 years of making content than I did the 2 years before. Because I used to film just a little bit of everything, and now I feel like YouTube's become a little more structured, which it doesn't have to be, but I kind of feel like,
it is.
You know, you follow the narrative, what's going on with YouTube. And that kind of seems like things are more set up and things are more about like topic based and things like that. So yeah, a little bit of everything.
So I might ask quickly, just what you touched on before, how come you've stepped back from making videos the last 30 days?
Dude, to be completely honest, like I get so obsessed with like anything and everything that I choose to.
Yeah. And
I was in this, like, you also get in this like wave of being a creator where you're trying to compare yourself to other people and see what's going on and where's YouTube shifting and where's YouTube going. And I found myself kind of going down this path where I was just not doing what I loved. And it's funny because my like saying was always like, do what makes you happy. And I finally was able to be like honest with myself. And I also had this like massive wave of like depression and anxiety and like, and I was battling myself on that because I was like, I should not be feeling that way. Like, why am I feeling that way? And it's hard to come clean and like say that on YouTube because then people, you know, have comments to say like, oh, well, you do everything you want. Like, what do you mean? Well, or at least you feel that way. So I kind of reached like a really scary low point with my health in like all areas, like my brain, my body, like everything, like a scary low. And like for the first time I was like, all right, this is not okay. I need to step back. And that was hard to do because normally like I've probably taken like 3 breaks in my whole YouTube career like I am right now, where it's like a really big gap with no content. And this is the first time where I'm not calculating like, well, I am though. That's the funny thing. Like I am calculating
like losses and stuff.
What and how going forward, but I'm really not even like thinking about like YouTube and content and stuff like that. I'm kind of just trying to let my self develop more because like I said, like I have this problem where I get like hyper obsessed with things and then I like forget about being an actual person. So like I was just forgetting about being like a human for so long. And I was not reaping the benefits, but whatever the opposite of a benefit would be. I was kind of seeing all of that. And I just had to kind of take a step back and also kind of get more cautious of like what I was actually doing and like realizing all the businesses and all the things, like just actually think for like the first time. Cause I was just in some pretty vicious cycles of like not being able to do that. So I just pretty much, another part of that, like why I stepped back was I just realized I didn't have time to think of like, am I hanging around the right people or am I doing the right things? Like I just was at like I would really call it like rock bottom for myself. Yeah. So I just kind of took a step back from it all. And
which, man, that's pretty fucking big to acknowledge too. And like, congratulations for bringing your shit to the surface. Because like most people go for years doing that and they go down a really bad hole. So for you to notice it now and grow, like I feel like your fans and stuff should know what's going on in your life, so then they can support you, man. Yeah. Because like I feel like support would help too.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've been kind of like in this process of like overthinking this like how I would come back to making videos.
Yeah.
Cause I feel like I definitely need to make a video being honest and like letting people know in the right way. But I also overthink like everything. Like I hyper analyze like everything. And I overthink that like, I don't want to just make a video. Well, at least I didn't want to make a video and be like, all right, guys, I have anxiety and depression, surprise.
Yeah.
And then you kind of add to like all these little kids that are growing up and or they're growing up watching my videos, say, and then they get this seed in their mind that like, oh, he got anxiety and depression also. Like, and then you kind of make a self narrative of like, okay, maybe I'm going to get anxiety and depression. So I've been overthinking my comeback to YouTube and what I would talk about and how I would word it, more importantly, because I don't know, words are really important to me and they like are really impactful.
Definitely.
Like I don't know, I take things really literally, so I can only imagine other people, some people do. So I've been trying to think of the best way to formulate how I would do that video. And I've filmed like 3 different occasions of it. And like, I go down like different editing things and like, I'm kind of like fine tuning it. And like, I don't know. I never talk like, even like I'm talking right now, like I never do that. So then I also overthink like, all right, like, I don't know. I got to be real specific with what I say. Cause then that affects also how then I would act going forward.
I feel like, I feel like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself, eh? Like people need to realize that you're still growing up as well. Yeah. Like I'm still a kid as well. Like we're still got to go through life without worrying about everyone else's life. Like, but being in the position you are, putting out content that you do, I guess you got to really think of like the younger generation watching your stuff.
Yeah. Cause it's hard to be your authentic self all the time.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like that's where I'm trying to get back to is cause I just realized I wasn't being my authentic self.
Yeah.
And I like to I like to make up narratives and I even fall in them. And so, I'm really trying to get to a place where I feel authentic in my own skin and like comfortable in my own skin, more importantly, so I can portray that. So that's why I've just been like, all right, well, I'm just going to not even worry about this rat race right now. And just like, that's really what I'm trying to do is, and I overthink a lot as you hear, but
it's good.
But no, it's all been a good break and I'm gonna come back at a good time, hopefully here soon. I mean, I've only just started kind of getting social again. Like I took like literally the last 30 days, like I have not hung out with anybody except for my grandparents and my mom and my sister.
Has it helped?
So I've only just, it's helped me because I'm someone who also like, I need to like be around people a lot, or at least I felt like that. And like, I didn't even know why that was. So like, I was just like, if I wasn't with like a girl, like I was like, all right, what friend am I calling over? Like, who am I going to hang out with? Or who am I doing for this? And I don't know. I overthink in real life too, not just with the channel. So I've also just started kind of getting back into like being social. And like, I went to this cool, like, scooter event that I sponsored, and I was around a bunch of really awesome people that I grew up around and a lot of scooter kids, which were my kind of people. And that was really nice. But that was like the first time I seen people in like a month or like people to talk to and like, that I know and stuff.
Yeah. I think I noticed too, you took like a lot of Instagram photos down. Did you did you archive heaps of photos then? I think you maybe put some more up after the scooter event, maybe got some more confidence back. I don't know. Like it looked like the scooter event done you some good.
No, yeah, bro. So like, that's a whole nother fucking funny thing, bro. I've just been like going through it like crazy in like so many different ways. Yeah. And I was just like scrolling through my Instagram and I was just like, I don't know. I was just like, like this is all super whack. Like I was just like, I hate all of this. And then I took it all down and I made it like, my favorite number is 22. So I made it 22 posts. Yeah. And I took down like all these like photos I had of like all my cars and all my, all like me meeting a bunch of famous people and me on like random trips. And like, I had 1,000 Instagram posts. And then, so I shed it down to 22. Jesus and then, like about, a couple of days ago, I went back through the archives and then I was like, all right, this one's cool. This one's cool. And now I'm back up to like 46 posts. Yeah. But my thought with that was I just like, didn't like the vibe of my Instagram page. Like it was just it was a poor representation of me. And, or at least cause like, you know, we're all always evolving and stuff. So I just felt like me now and who I want to be going forward, I like wanted to give a better perspective, not only to myself, cause that like helps my brain function going forward. But then also for someone coming to my page, I was like, you know, this isn't me. This isn't me. This isn't me. I did this for that reason, or I was there for this reason, or I was hanging out with this person, and that's like old news. And so, yeah, I just like went through and refreshed that as well.
I feel like you're going through like the biggest life shift, man. Like everything that you're saying, you're going through like a massive shift. Like I'm excited to see like when you come out of this, like what the new you is, man.
Me,
Yeah.
yeah, me freaking too, man.
Yeah.
I think
like
the big thing for that, and because I went through something similar with my own sort of personal Instagram, was I stopped trying to add value in every single post. Like every post, you know, when we spoke about this, like Kye gave me a lot of really fantastic advice about it, because I spent so much time being like, every time I post a photo, it's got to have a great caption. It's got to give value to someone who sees it. It's got to take something away from it. And then instead of just
it wasn't authentic, you know?
Yeah,
like
that's right.
People post like, people focus too much on what like other people want to see rather than what they are as a person. So they start like losing themselves, and they do it over time. Like,
and that's what I mean. And then I took a huge break. And then when I come back, it was like, you know, like stop posting with hashtags, just kind of post and say, not say and do whatever I want, obviously, but just instead of being like, you know, sitting down and going, okay, I've got to write this caption about this today, and that's going to help people, it just being like, okay, well, here's a photo, and that's kind of it. And then like you said, get back in touch with your authentic self, and you know, and feel better, just because it's like, that's what I want. That's what I want to do now, instead of spending my time being like, nah, I have to add something in, because like you said, you're worried about people who are looking on your page being like, okay, well, that's not me. You know, you find yourself that.
Yeah, exactly. And then like, it's like selfishly like for yourself too. Cause it's like, then you're even believing that like old self, or maybe you were in a, like, you're just your old version of yourself. And then going forward, you're continuing to play into that, cause you don't even know how to look at it now. Yeah. And it just, I get exactly what you're saying. That's exactly what I was trying to do.
People get so caught up.
Am trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's nuts, because people would always just sit there and they never think that someone like yourself would go through this. I mean, they just look and they go, oh my God, this kid's young, he's famous, he's got the cars.
People don't realize the drawbacks. There's so many drawbacks, man, to being successful and actually making it and having the stuff that people want to attain. Like people don't realize that, yeah, it's cool getting a Lamborghini and stuff. But like I had like a brand new C63 AMG, and I'd done it up, and it was full on. Like I had that, everyone was all up my shit and stuff. But I realized like, I still had days where I'd cry in the 63. Like I still had days where I was depressed and anxiety. Like people don't realize just because you have the stuff doesn't mean your head's all good. Like you still go through stuff.
No, I know. And that's like the most, it's like, it sucks because for anyone that like would listen to that, it's like, it sounds like the most cliche thing to say. But it's like, it literally does. And every human has to experience it for themselves, because they won't even listen to us. They'll be like, oh, well, that's just how you felt about it. But it's like, literally, it takes having everything you want to realize that none of that shit matters. And that's the most cliche thing to say.
It's so fucking true though, man. Like, I'm so glad to hear you fucking say that, because like I say it all the time to people. I'm like, you don't realize like having all the shit is not always great, because then you attract the wrong people. You've got all this social pressure. People are looking at you. So then the biggest thing that I found, man, last year was I had a lot of stuff happen last year where I lost a lot of stuff. I like went through a big business and personal shift. But from being at the pinnacle of success and having everything I wanted, like I had the mansion, the cars, I did the yachts, I did the private, all the shit. And then everyone saw all that every day because I posted my whole life. And then going from that to not posting that and then getting depressed, like it's hard to know how to come back once you're not what you used to be at a certain status. Like it's really, like it's a lot of social pressure, I feel like, and that's where my depression came from as well. Like not wanting people to realize what's going on behind the scenes.
And in that, you're like literally playing into like this like society standard that everyone else thinks they want. Yeah. And then, so that's where I'm also trying to get back to is like you were saying, like you're just unique individual self. And then, so it's like you find yourself chasing what everyone else wants to be chasing. So you get so far from like your own individual purpose. Yeah. And that's where I've been like really trying to get at, and also understand a way in changing myself so other people can understand that, is that just like, I really firmly believe in like everything that I've kind of gone through in the last couple of months is just like everyone has their own individual purpose. And this shit all sounds so cliche. That's what's funny.
It's so true though.
But like, it's like the truest shit, because everyone is so different, and not everyone's no one's meant to go do all the luxury shit. It's just like some people think they want to, and they do, and they might like it, and they might continue to do it. But I just found myself like, again, comparing myself to everyone and then being like, all right, well, I don't know what the fuck to do, so I'm just going to do what everyone else is doing. And then at a certain point, you're like, wait a minute, was any of that my thoughts? And then like, I don't know. So I've just been,
man,
I've been just like, fucking
You gotta give yourself some props though. Like haven't you been in YouTube for like 11 or 12 or 13 years now?
Yeah, like 11 years.
Keeping the status that you have for so long and videos of how you've done, like you got to give yourself some props for the content.
And also, just to clarify for our listeners that might not know who you are, although I'm sure they all do, is like you're only like 23 still, right? 23?
22.
Right, 22. So 22. So you've been, so that's a fucking long time, man. And that is like your peak development.
And being in it so young, starting so young, like the pressure.
Yeah.
Like how do you deal with figuring out or the next thing or the next, like, you know how you like YouTube, more creators coming out every year doing different shit and people are always comparing and trying to beat each other. How do you like feel when you do your videos? Are you like, oh, do I have to focus on the next big thing or do you just stay authentic the whole time? Is that what you try to do all the time? Or do you follow the next phase?
I think like when I actually turn the camera on, you mean? I think that I've definitely always been really great at like staying true to myself, but then like also like sometimes not. But when the camera's on, I mean, like I'm the most comfortable, like when the camera's on, like I love being on camera. So I've never, I don't feel like I've ever, I've masked being like extremely depressed or like intoxicated a couple of times or like stuff like that on video. But even then, like if I'm feeling like sad and I turn the camera on, like that's like selfishly like my therapy. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm stoked when the camera's on because then I get to forget about it. And like, I get to like worry about the camera and who's on the other side of it and stuff like that. So I don't think I've ever had a problem with like not being myself when the camera's on. Yeah. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yes and no. More so content wise. Do you feel like you have to constantly keep up with trends more so? Like, do you feel like when you make your videos, you're like, oh fuck, like I can't just do the same stuff. I got to focus on doing some stuff like what Mr. Beast does or doing some stuff like Jake Paul. Like, you know, and do you look at what other people are doing or do you just go, nah, I'm sticking to the content I do?
I've definitely gone down that rabbit hole plenty of times. Yeah. I mean, every creator that is like killing it is doing that. Yeah. Because you have to be like, that's literally the name, like kind of the name of the game. Yeah. But then it's like, there's definitely everyone, like I was saying, has their own unique thing about them and their own artistry. Yeah. So that's one thing I've been just challenging myself on. And that really came like that all starts, or I believe it all starts from within. So that's why I've also been just like, all right, I got something in me. Like this all worked out for some reason. So what happens if I don't follow those trends and do those things? But then that's a real long process because it's like, then you kind of like resort to something else without even realizing it. And then you resort to something else without even realizing it. Yeah. But then it's also like, I think there's like a weird fine line with it. Like you have to follow the trends and you have to keep up if you want to like almost remain relevant.
So you don't want to release a video and feel like you're trying to follow some sort of depressive trend. That's what you're worrying about with doing a video.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I don't know. And that's also my own ego, just kind of like feeling like, oh, that might be the easy route, which is the easy route. And I could easily just go play a giant game of tic-tac-toe and then go prank someone in public. And like, I have endless lists of all that shit. Like I'm also like a algorithm nerd and like, I like overanalyze everything. So like, I understand every aspect of YouTube. I just find myself like burning myself out on like, overanalyzing it and then being like, okay, I already get it. Like, I don't want to do it. Yeah. So yeah, I think but also it's like any creator, like you have to keep up with the times and you have to, or at least we all feel like that, but it's like, you don't, cause you don't have to do anything. But then it's like, if you're also not like maybe structuring your content in a trendy way, cause there's so many layers of like trendiness. It's like, there's a style of content that's like in right now. And then so like a lot of people gravitate towards that. And then even if you're not doing the trendy styles of content, it's like you might be talking about something trendy. But I mean, everything's kind of trendy if you think about it, because we all kind of do the same shit. Literally. Every human, at least at some level. But I mean, definitely, you know, that's a very key factor in wanting to be a creator, is like following what everyone else is thinking about, because that's like where the masses are, our minds are at. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I like that. And one thing which would be good, which I think you guys can both touch on, I'm very fortunate enough that I've not had to be in this situation, just getting back to like your coming back video and things like that, is a lot of people don't talk about like when you take a break, the amount of people that turn on you. Oh. So, you know, like you've shared the story a couple of times that when you went through your depression, that there was 900 people in your inbox saying, "Hey, I want to help, blah blah blah," and then the moment you come back, then everyone was gone.
More so the fact that I noticed when I went through my depression and stuff, and I overcome that. The fact that how many more people are there to give you the fake support in your inbox or the fake friends compared to when you come back from being depressed and start succeeding again, that the congratulations and the support isn't there. And I feel like it's weird.
Yeah.
Like
Do you have
that in your life? Do you have people? Yeah, you can explain it. It's your question. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's just, like you're taking a break, and obviously the hard part about coming back is like all the people that take the negative connotation towards it, because it's almost like when you're in the spotlight, same as, you and I have spoken about before with yourself, is like, it's almost like your fans, I feel like you owe them to be there all the time. Like all of a sudden, like, oh my God, he didn't post a video. Oh, well, now I'm going to turn against him because he's not in the spotlight or he's not there. And
also the assumptions. I feel like, do you have like when you went offline or when you started going through your stuff that multiple people, including friends, had all these assumptions on what's going through that people started dropping off? Like, did you ever have that?
Wait, I'm trying to phrase it one more time just so I answer the right part of it.
So I think the best part, so have you found that when you took a break and when you've taken breaks before in like obviously posting and being in the spotlight, that coming back you find that it's hard because there's people that have a negative connotation towards it? So do you find that you get negative feedback for taking a break, for trying to be yourself and look after yourself?
See, I think that like I'm so far even from that now. Like I was like literally just like not comfortable in my own skin and for like so many of the last like 3 years. Like now my head is really at the fact, like, because I try to think like, what do I love? Like, what do I want to do? Like, what do I actually want to do? No one involved, this whole YouTube, like influencer world, like everything. I feel like I'm really just at a place where I'm like, okay, I actually really love making videos. I just have to make the right ones that I actually enjoy making. And I could do that shit forever. Like I could keep doing that. I did daily vlogs for like a year and a half. So like making the videos is no problem. But then I think you're even talking about like the viewership and like the fans and stuff. I even think I've thought about that too. And it's kind of like, I mean, I gave up on wanting to like follow those big trends and do those things to keep those viewers for like a long time ago, way before I even took this break. I tried to start making the videos I wanted to make, but then I even found myself on different like shelves. And I think honestly, my mind isn't even there. Like I'm just trying to fix my health and my brain because it's so scattered that like, I literally am so excited to get to a place of just getting to be creative again. Like I'm so in the weeds of all my shit that I did the last 5 years, like even so much deeper than YouTube. Like I'm just figuring out the groundwork for so much shit that I started. It's not even YouTube. Like that I'm like making myself miss just getting to be creative. So I'm like honestly just excited to get to make videos. And I've also like, I've conditioned my mind that like 50,000 people could watch every video and like whatever, like, you know what I mean? So I think I'm honestly just like past that mentally. Because that's what you're saying is kind of like the creator mindset that so many of us have because of the other guys and the other guys and the other guys, that it's like the irrelevant thing. And like, that can really only affect you, I feel like, if you let it. And I've already let it affect me, like thinking about it so much. So I'm just like trying to figure out that. So I'm like, okay, if I don't want to do this and I don't want to do this and I don't want to do all the things that all the other top guys are doing, because there's kind of like, all right, you look at the Paul brothers, you look at KSI, you look at, all those kind of like different avenues of guys. I'm like, okay, don't want to do that. 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 And then I'm like, oh, wow, I'm comparing myself to everyone. Why? And then I'm like, oh, wow, I'm like super not comfortable in my own skin. Why? And then it's like, oh, like I'm really depressed and anxious. Like, why? And like, I've just been peeling back all these onion layers to where I'm like, oh, like I'm like a really nerdy, weird kid. And I'm like really bad at showing that. And I went back and even looked at like so much of my old content when like I was the one of the top YouTubers in like going around. And I'm like, oh, I was like so much better at showing that. Like, and then so I don't know. I feel like my brain isn't even there of like also I realize how much I rely on like other people to like make me feel like secure and like whole. that like I've also worked on that so much in the last month, and I'm still working on it. Like I've not gotten that figured out, but like I've made so much progress with that where I'm just like, I want to literally be okay with just like going on a trip by myself, making friends with a random person, doing whatever the fuck, like literally just having fun. And now I've worked so hard that like I'm blessed to even have this platform where minimal, like 100,000 people would watch my video, like
it's crazy,
or maybe 80,000, you know, minimal, that like I could literally do anything. So then it's like, okay, now what do I want to do? Because I've made myself okay with that. Like I've made myself okay with all the standards. Like I feel like I've just tried to set my expectations right so that I can operate in a better, more like
clear,
more like just a better way, kind of.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of where my head's at, to be honest. Like I've just really challenged my thoughts so much and like try to like shift them around to like where I want them to be. And it's been like a fucking process, and I'm still in the weeds. That's also like what I'm doing, like not making videos too, because there's just a lot of shit I started that I'm trying to not make up for, but there's so much shit behind the scenes that I'm like, oh shit. Like I was just kind of like I was just on my fucking roller coaster, and I didn't even realize all the actual shit that I kind of started and the people I had in I really like I stopped working with my editor for the time being. And like, I've kind of just cut back on everything. Cause I don't know. I just really needed to focus on just me. And that's kind of where that's taken me. I guess I just rambled on and on, but that's really where.
No, see, that's the best part. I fucking love that because that takes a lot to be able to come out on a platform, you know, 100%. Like this and talk about it and just be honest and real. Like you can tell that obviously, you know, like you're not trying to mask anything. Like, you know, you're explaining that this is why I feel this way and so on and so forth. And that's a massive thing.
The fact that you've done the whole like, okay, this is the problem. Why do I have it? And peeling back the layers and finding the root cause. You know how many people don't do the work like that, man?
Yeah, that's fucking
like
huge.
You are 22 and you have you would have the world on your shoulders. Like you got your own world, you know, you got like all the fans, the platforms, the car, everything, right? And then being able to still take yourself back from that and work on yourself, like fuck, congratulations.
Yeah, man, that's fucking huge.
You fucking killed it.
Hey, thank you. That gave me goosebumps. Like I really appreciate it. And again, it's my own journey. And that's why I'm so comfortable even saying it. Cause before, bro, like I had such like a character built up for myself that like I would literally overthink and I would like filter my own thoughts. Yeah. And like I did that for so long with social media that then became my actual brain. And then so like that's also I've just spent so much time by myself and like dealing with all my what you'd call demons, like just, and so I feel like that's also, it's just easy to say now. And I've said this to like so many people that are close in my life that like even like my grandparents, like I've literally became like such great friends with them in the past month. And it's been so awesome. Yeah. Like I literally have conversations like this with them. And I was so used to just being like that little kid that like, oh, grandma and grandpa, like watch what you say and watch what you talk about. And like,
now you've opened
up.
So
yeah, I appreciate you guys saying that. It's an interesting journey. And I'm honestly excited too, to see where it takes me. Cause I'm not stuck on anything. Like I'm finally like not, but I am, but I'm not. Like I'm stuck on like my own things, or I'm slowly getting in that direction. I'm not figured it out, but like I'm just trying to get more towards that.
Yeah. Well, I might change the topic quickly and ask, what do you feel has been your most outrageous, like, and just most wild video that you've done? That's not in terms of like what's got the most views, but what do you think for you? You're just like, okay, that was the sickest video I've done. Like that had the most hectic shit.
Bro, literally, like I was talking about this with like one of my friends at the scooter thing I was at this weekend, because they were like kind of asking me a similar question. Yeah. And it's really like the video I did where I went on this, like, it's called like This Vacation Costs $1 Million. We basically met this kid named Gage, who was a fan of the videos, and he DM'd me on Instagram and he said like, oh, we have all these hypercars. He had the LaFerrari, Bugatti, Koenigsegg, Pagani. And this kid, like, he's super cool. He just like was like, come out to Texas and drive my cars and shit. So I was like, fuck yeah.
Is that the Billionaires?
Like, let's go.
Yeah. Is that?
Yeah.
That was fucking wicked.
So we ended up making like really good friends with Gage. Like he was actually just like so cool. I ended up going back there on like separate occasions, not filming more videos. I helped him launch his YouTube channel and get like over 100,000 subs.
Jesus.
And I just feel like his dad was really grateful because like I didn't have to, like I could have just gone there and filmed like one video and never talked to him again. But we actually like hung out a bunch and it was just chill vibes. And actually my friend Maverick, who I used to have my podcast with, actually lives with him now.
Oh, what the fuck?
So that's funny.
What?
Yeah.
See, that's what I mean. It's crazy how life works, eh?
What an outlier moment for that guy. Like that's such a that's such an amazing thing.
Yeah.
To
you got to think he was a billionaire's son. Though. Like
of course.
It was his outlier moment. It was more so like he gets to do his own thing now, have his own identity from his dad.
Yeah, that's cool. Insane.
Yeah. So then, like months after we had met, they randomly hit us up and they were like, "Hey, my dad just bought a new yacht. We're gonna take his private jet to the Bahamas." And again,
shut the fuck up. Imagine just that happening.
Just casual.
I even hate like saying this kind of stuff because like I'm talking about like luxury shit and I like, you know what I mean? But like this was just like a crazy, because I'm also a normal person, like and like it's actually crazy that this even fucking happened because like I've never been on a yacht. I've been on a private jet once before that, but like it was just the most random, absurd thing to ever happen because when we were there, it was like I didn't know life like that existed. Like because I don't come from money, like, and to see nine like full-time employees on this boat that were just there for us. And like the most surreal moment of that whole trip for me was basically I went to go jump in the ocean and I took my shirt off and I threw it onto like the chair on the top of the boat. And then I went swimming, I came back and my shirt was gone. And I was like, what the fuck? But then I was like, all right, whatever. We're going to be on the boat for 3 days. Like I'll find it. And then like 3 hours later, we had like eaten lunch. And then I like forgot about my shirt. I go into my room and it was like folded, dried, and like on my bed.
On your bed.
And
what the fuck?
That was the most, I don't know why. That was one of the most surreal moments. Because I was just like, damn, people really be living like this, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
That's insane.
That was fucking good.
That was just funny to me, bro. That was honestly just really funny to me. And it was just cool. I love the ocean. Like I grew up on like an old 1962 fishing boat. With my dad.
Yeah.
Like I've always been around the ocean. So that was really cool. Like that whole thing. But then, man, craziest experience also, I would feel like involving Australia. I did an Australia tour in 2016. And that was just insane because coming from being a scooter kid, like we travel around the world doing scooter contests. And basically one of the biggest like scooter companies wanted to fly me out there and they paid for my whole trip. Which honestly, like they should have like business me now. They've been like, they should have paid me because of how much like money I made them. But I was just stoked on how I was just stoked to get a free trip. And then I did all these tours and like 5,000 people showed up at each one. And that was like the first time I was ever like, holy fuck, bro. Yeah. Like what the hell? It was like we shut down the cities and like cops had to come and like
sick.
All this sorts of crap. Like and we just not crap, but like all this stuff just happened. And then we got to like hang out and go to like the owner of Scooter Hut's house, which at the time was just crazy because I was just like a scooter kid.
Yeah.
So I would say those are like definitely top two. I mean, I've done so much random cool stuff for YouTube videos, but those were two moments where I was like, oh shit, like we out here right now.
Yeah. That's pretty sick. Imagine imagine going from like, okay, I'm making YouTube videos and then you have the subscribers, but seeing the people in real life, like there for you, like that would be a surreal moment. It's like, okay, holy shit, these people are here because I'm here.
Even the most satisfying part, you're only like 15 doing that.
Yeah.
Like that's, what the fuck, man? That's nuts. That would have been such a, what an insane experience.
You know, on us, how did your parents cope with when you were going through all this? Like, you know, flying around, doing all this, becoming a big superstar so young. Like, were they obviously not ready for it because like you was like that troubled kid they're like, what the fuck are we going to do with him? Like, he's not going to be in school.
Yeah. So I was already kind of like preconditioned for it. So it worked out like since I was like 12, since I was like 12 is when 11 was when I like started scootering, and my parents got divorced when I was 9. So I was like already kind of like, I was neglected by my family for sure.
Yeah.
So they would kind of just like, I would either ride to the skate park or my grandparents would take me, or they would drop me off for like the whole day and give me like $20 for like lunch and some snacks and dinner. And then even at the skate parks, like I would like never want to go home because like, I just didn't really feel like I didn't really feel wanted at home.
Yeah.
Like obviously like I had like a roof over my head and like I got fed and stuff, obviously, like all the normal necessities, but like emotionally, I like didn't really feel wanted. So I didn't want to be somewhere where I wasn't wanted. So I would literally always make friends. Like, I feel like my scooter friends became my family.
Yeah.
And I actually deeply feel that way because like they did become my family. So on that point, I would make friends with people and I would drive home with, because I was also blessed to grow up at one of the best skate parks in America. And so a lot of people would travel in to ride the skate park. So I would meet all sorts of really awesome, crazy, cool people, like people in Oregon, people in New Jersey, people in Texas, or just like 2 hours away from where I lived. So I would always make like super good friends with like a lot of scooter kids. And then I would literally go stay at their house for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like literally just be like, hey mom, like I made a friend, I'm going to go to Hemet. And like, I would be like 12 years old, like 2 hours away from home, call my mom maybe like once or twice. And we would just get into a bunch of hoodlum shit and like do all sorts of funny things and stuff like that. And then I started getting better at scootering. So I started I got sponsored by Lucky, who's like a big scooter brand. And then the first time I ever traveled across country by myself was when I was 13. I flew to New Jersey to stay with another like 13-year-old kid that was on Lucky. And that same thing, like I would maybe have my mom call his mom, but like I would literally make friends with like this kid I made friends with on Facebook because he made YouTube videos of him scootering. So I would like message him and then I would like fly all the way to New Jersey because I really wanted to ride like their famous skate park on the East Coast of America. Yeah. And like, so I would just literally make friends on Facebook, fly there for a week by myself. My mom talked to him once. So I was like already doing that. And then I started traveling. I made friends with a kid on Facebook who also made YouTube videos from Australia. So then this kid his name's Sammy Williamson. He's from Manly. Yeah. Near Sydney. Yeah. And so he flew out to America and he ended up staying with me on my dad's boat for like a month. And then after that, I did a trip out to see him for like a month. So I was across the world already when I was 15, like just turned 15. And then all the YouTube stuff. So it was just like, my mom and dad were just kind of like really preconditioned for it. I feel like, so there was just never any issues. And then like also, like, especially when the YouTube stuff started, because they were real worried about me with school. Like they were like, that was like, my mom almost wanted to like send me to military school because I was just like getting kicked out of school and like I was not good. And then I started making money and it was kind of finally like,
yeah, sweet. Like, you're your own person now. Yeah. You can kind of have your own control.
Yeah. Like what now? Yeah. And then me and my mom have a great relationship now, but it was like funny because like even a big motivating factor, this is like a side note, but like a big motivating factor for me was like, I would get home from the skate park and I like would literally be editing videos, like old scooter videos. And I would be like super stinky from the skate park. Like I would just be outside all day, smell like shit. And my mom would be like, go take a shower. And I was like, all right, I will. Like 1 second, I'm editing my video. And then she'd be like, go take a shower. Like, no, like, cause I wouldn't listen to her. And it like, obviously it pissed her off. Like I was hard to discipline. Yeah. And so naturally, like as a mother should, she's like, all right, well, I'm going to shut your phone off. Cause she didn't know what to take from me. Cause like, I didn't really care about much things. And I had my phone and like, I could watch YouTube videos. So she would basically just like threaten to turn off my phone. Yeah. And so then in my head, I was like, okay, I got to pay for my own phone. So then like, I just like, I would hustle on, like, I would sell clips online to like break.com and like Fail Army. But so I would make my own money and I'd pay for my phone. And then that was the only thing I needed to like figure out so that I could be even more independent. And then it was just kind of like, at one point she's just like, all right, this kid, like he's just going to do him and mob around. And then
look what happened.
And then, so it was already natural.
Jesus Christ.
It worked out.
It was funny, man. It was so funny, bro.
What's such an interesting thing? Most people are just like, that sucks. And you're like, yeah, well, fuck you. I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah, literally. Well, fuck you, mum. Can't grab me if I own my own house. Like, just shit like that. You can't kick me out.
That's cool. Well, touching on, obviously, the cool stuff, because, I mean, obviously, like, you've done a lot of badass cool shit in your time. I mean, you're still pretty young, but you've done, like, a lot of cool shit.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I want to know, obviously we're super big car fans. How do you go, like, what happens at 20 when you say, I just want to buy a Lamborghini? Obviously the laws are a lot different here in Australia than they are in the US. I mean, at 19, 20, you can't just you can't just be here and be like, I want to buy a Lamborghini because of insurances, things like that. What was that like for you? And also, and aside from that, also, what was it like personally being at that point, being like, fuck yeah, I'm like 20 and I'm buying a Lamborghini and doing whatever the fuck I want with it?
Bros, America laws are so fucking weird. Like I had 1,000 horsepower GTR when I was 17. Like
that's
1,000.
wild.
Like,
Right.
I literally, no, like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know why they gave me the keys to that, but I mean, I paid them. So it was like, they were like, sure. And then, yeah, there's no laws. There's laws about modifying your car, but I mean, it's pretty easy to get around. A lot of people modify their cars around this country. And so, I mean, I was just like stoked. It felt normal to me. Like I was very, very experienced with fast cars, just because also with the social media stuff, a lot of people were just trusting or like wanted me to drive their cars. So I drove like just about everything before I was like 17, everything in like the supercar range. And then, then the GTR got boring. And then for the YouTube channel, it was like, all right, you got to keep one-upping and keep doing bigger, better, bigger. So I wanted more power. And I also, the first GTR I ever got a ride in was 1,000 horsepower. So I knew in my head, I was like, at some point I have to have, like, I felt like I have to have that.
Yeah.
So I kind of had that experience done. And then fast forward, which was, or after the GTR, then I had the Porsche GT3 RS, which was like, that was more like normal horsepower. That was like 540.
Love that.
But then, yeah, I love that car too, man. That was like my favorite car ever. But I honestly didn't feel like it was good for YouTube because like most kids and adults know Lamborghini. Yeah. Whereas like the perception, whereas like guys like your age will appreciate the Porsche more than a Lamborghini, but like then you miss out on a bigger market. So like that's literally where my head was at.
Yeah.
And buying the Lamborghini, bro, honestly, like I've never liked Lamborghinis. Like I've always talked shit on them because like I was also like I got into
just my favorite.
I've also gotten into. Well, hear me out.
Yeah, I recorded that, by the way. Lamborghini, you're in trouble. No.
No, bro, I did a brand deal for Lamborghini. Fuck that.
Yeah.
No, they literally, they were dickheads. But Lamborghini has no like race team, and they're literally marketed and built around people thinking they're cool so that like a certain niche of people buy them. But then also they've made a lot of really great cars now, and they have the Evo and they have the Performante. They make a lot of great cars. I'm not like shitting on the quality. They have really great quality cars. It's just like me personally, I never really liked them because I was also at one point I was like a car nerd and I learned about like everything and every car. So I had my favorites, and I literally just knew that like the Lambo would be better than the Porsche for like content.
Yeah.
And then I do a lot of work with this car company called West Coast Exotics. They're in Temecula, California. And they basically, I also have this friend who's a cop. It's funny, he's a police officer. And he works with his brother who works in the cannabis industry. So that with he makes a fuck ton of money. So with his money, he had like somehow acquired this wide body Lamborghini with twin turbo. And so Hunter from West Coast, they were trying to sell it. And they hit me up and he's like, hey bro, like I have this car. It has like a Liberty Walk wide body kit, which was also the same kit on my GTR. And I had this stupid dream where I was like, oh, I want 2 Liberty Walk cars. So that was also like, I had all sorts of little reasons, but I pretty much just went there. I was overthinking it because I was also like, I try to be really smart with my money. Like I never try to like do uncalculated shit. So like I really overthought even buying that car. Because I was just like, I don't know. But then like a lot of people sold me on the idea, which I'm not mad about at all. Like it was a fun experience even having that car. And I just literally went there. I test drove it. And then I thought about it for a little bit longer. And then I was like, all right, I want that. And he ended up like a couple people wanted to buy it, but since I had done work with him, he just like saved it for me for like a month because like I wanted to think about it because it's a big thing to commit to.
Yeah.
And then in my head, I was like, this makes sense. It's good for videos. It's a fun car. Like, of course I'd want a twin turbo V10. Like that sounds super fun. And then I ended up getting it. And then, yeah, I mean, I ended up getting it. It was fun, but I will say this, like, I had no excitement when I bought it, like at all. Like, honestly, like I did not care, like at all. I just knew it was like, it made so much sense for my brand that like, it just made so much sense. And of course it's so fun. Like it's a fun car to drive, but honestly, it's also pretty fucking embarrassing being in that thing. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Because earlier you were saying, you were like, you know, you attract the wrong kinds of people.
Yeah.
So like, at a certain point, I just started being like super self-conscious. Like I didn't want to drive it. And then one day I like was out driving in it and I was just like already like, oh, windows up. Like but it's obviously my fucking car.
Yeah. But
then I had this realization where like this dude like drove by me in his sports car and then he was like, oh, like that thing's sick. And then I was just like, man, he only thinks this thing's cool because he thinks his car is cool and my car is more expensive and maybe more rare than his. So like, no shit, he thinks my car is cool. But then like, I don't know. I don't mean to like make it like a depressing thing. No. I sold that car like a week ago.
Oh, real?
So wow, what?
I said, fucking wow. Yeah, sold it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause that was another thing I come to realization with myself. And I haven't even posted that online yet because I hadn't even made videos in a month, but I was just like, okay, I bought that car at like a really self-centered place in my life. And I also like, I was continuing to feed into this like narrative that like just wasn't me. And like, I was just like
doing it for the
like,
views.
I don't know. Like, yeah, literally. And it just wasn't me. Like I literally always talk shit about those cars. Yeah. And here I am acting like it's so cool to have one. So I don't know. And it ran its course on my channel and luckily it went to another YouTuber. He's stoked on it. Yeah. And I'm stoked for the time I had it. I get over cars really fast. I still have the GTR cause like, that's just like my baby. Yeah. But even like, I've been for the first time in my life, like pondering like, man, do I even want that? But then it's like, yeah, I do. Because the fact of like, I made it a Hot Wheel and I like have done so much work to it and it has so much sentimental value to me. And like, I got a good deal for the Lambo. So that was also great timing to sell it with the market right now. And the kid who got it super hyped and he's going to make a bunch of YouTube videos with it. And so it was just like all right timing, but that was kind of part of my like journey I've been on this month of like self-realization. And like, yeah, that's even why I'm sitting here being honest about it. Cause if you would ask me if I still had it, I'd been like, I would have just like played into my character and been like, oh yeah, bro, it's so sick. Like, bro, I'm going to go do a track day with it. Like the video's coming soon. It's going to be fucking sick. When it's like, that's not that cool. Like, you know what I mean?
Well done for being you, man. Like it's actually,
that's insane.
You know what? It's actually exciting to talk to you and actually get the real you instead of like, you know, like I get worried. Like, you don't know when you do a podcast with someone who's obviously like of a high status, like all our guests that we've had on are very like high like in the public eye, you know, to the general public, you know, people see followers and stuff like that. And they're like, okay, this person's a superhuman, you know, like,
I know. That's just funny, bro.
Well, it is like, because I mean, you got to think about it, like when we talk to people and, you know, I'm like, oh man, like Tanner's coming on the podcast, man. Like some of the people that I spoke to, like nearly fucking fell over. Yeah. Like it was like out of this world that they were like, what the fuck? Like you're going to talk to this guy? And it's like,
oh, fuck it. You followed me on Instagram and I nearly cried.
Oh, he sent it to me in a Snapchat and was like, fucking check this shit out. But it's exciting though. Like, and that's what it is, you know, like
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool. Like that's. Yeah.
But I mean, like it's cool seeing you be your real self, man.
Yeah,
and like people need to see that. And it's good because you don't know who's going to have the sorry about cutting you off. You don't know who's going to have the character when you interview them. You know, you don't know who's going to have like the persona that they have or. Like it's cool talking to someone like it's real.
Yeah,
it's sick.
Because we've also done podcasts with people who have just been in it not for the podcast, just so they can do it for themselves,
just to promote themselves.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I've been there. Like you get caught in your own ego trip of like what your narrative is. And then you literally lose sight of like what the fuck is actually going on.
Yeah.
And so like I've been there because like I was literally just saying, like, had I still had the car and not even batted an eye to like wanting to better myself and understanding why I feel these emotions, like I would have literally just lied to you and I would have just lied to myself and I would have been like, oh bro, it's so sick. Like, yeah, bro. And then I would have felt like I needed to like play more into like the ego thing. Like, yeah, I'm going to do 1200 horsepower, bro. Yeah, it's going to be sick, bro. It's going to be even faster. Yeah. Like, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get better at that selfishly for myself, because like I'm looking for a better quality of life. Like that's honestly, it's literally just not even about social media anymore for the first time. And I love making videos, and that's all I love doing. And that's what I'm just trying to get back to. And like the Lambo was like not helping me love making videos.
Yeah.
Cause like I felt like I had to go make videos about that car when I didn't even really like it and shit.
Okay.
And then that's with a bunch of other stuff. But
well, what's next? What's next for you, do you think?
Bro, I literally like, I love making videos. Like that's literally, I really do. Like I love creating in some way, shape or form. Like I love playing music, and I love doing random scooter tricks. Like that's a form of art to me. And like, I love all that. So I'm trying not to get so caught up in like worldly goals.
Yeah.
But like, obviously you got to have them, and we're all humans, and we all got to make money, and we all got like, you know, we want to accomplish things. So, but I'm also trying to detach myself from like so far in the future where I like get lost in here. And I'm for the first time like practicing like baby steps, like just every single day. Like I just want to be a better version of myself. And like that's just truthfully, like I have all these like affirmations on my mirror, and like I try to get better at that. And I'm honestly trying to get better at meditating, which I've been slacking on. I'm trying to get more into reading, and I'm just trying to let myself like take over. So like, I don't even want to say what would be next, because then I put myself in a box mentally. Like I'll say that to you, but then I'll get off the podcast and like believe that in certain aspects, or feel like I need to like, maybe that is what I want. And then I'll like, I don't know, kind of push towards that. Yeah. But I mean, I'm just working on getting my health back in order. Like I got like way skinnier than I ever was. And I've only just started gaining weight like 2 weeks ago. So that's a big goal of mine.
Yeah.
I'd like to be more physically active, and I'd like to continue being in the weeds of all my stuff until I can get back to a place where I feel deserving of getting to be creative, which like I need to like make that shit up for myself, because obviously I could go tomorrow and make a video or something, but I'm also like, all right, like I got to get to a place where I even know what the fuck I want to create.
Yeah.
So that's really what I want to get to. And that just comes from within. And like, I feel like that little seed is like, it's growing slowly into like a little plant, and I want it to like, you know, get to a tree kind of thing. So I really feel like that's all that is next.
100%.
I like just continue to be more comfortable in my own skin and in my own brain. Cause like, I'm way weirder than I give myself credit for. And I like hide from that. So I'm just like literally trying to like become myself more, and like just even figure out what the hell that is. Yeah. And by me talking to even you guys, like I'm literally forgetting that we're even filming, like just being open with like two strangers. It's like, these are all ways you practice that. Yeah. And like, it just, and then, so like have more conversation with people. I really have realized how much I actually do love community. Like, I don't know at what point the fame shit, in quotations, the fame stuff, like kind of fucks that up, because you feel like all of a sudden, like everyone's like looking at you in public, or you got to be with people in public, or like, I don't know, just all these like weird little narratives that then you say like, oh, I don't like being around people. And then like, I've already gone through the phases of like not leaving my house and not leaving, like doing anything. And like, and so I really realized I love community, and I love getting to talk to people. Like, I was anxious to talk to you guys before this. And then it's like, we start talking and it's fucking fun and it's a great time. It's like, that's exactly the point. Is it's like, have in quotations, meaningless conversations that aren't meaningless. Cause like, why the fuck wouldn't you want to talk to people? Yeah. And like, that's why I've been hanging out with my grandparents, and like, bro, I get food by myself now. Like that's an accomplishment for me, bro. Like I literally would be so self-conscious of getting like going to a restaurant and like sitting by myself, because I would like worry, like I'm going to meet someone and then they're going to be like, oh, this fool's like, what the fuck's he doing by himself? I don't know, bro. Like I literally be in my head like that.
It's funny that
I've just realized. What?
No, I just had a realization. Like you've literally gone through the exact same like shift that I went through like last year. And like I had the same thing. Like I wouldn't go out in public. I locked myself in a room. I didn't like, you're just so afraid of being judged.
Well, it's like
so weird shit, bro.
Yeah. When you get in the social light, obviously like I'm, as I said, very fortunate. I'm not, so it's great. I get to watch from the outside in. Outside in is it's almost like once you become somebody in the social light, like it unlocks a new set of rules for you. Like you said, like.
But it's the rules you put on yourself. It's not even the actual rules. It's just the shit. You just tell yourself the shit that's not even real.
Yeah,
it's weird.
That's exactly right. And
it's the pressure.
And it's once everyone's
there. Your own
yeah.
fucking thoughts.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest shit, bro. So I'm just trying to like, be around more of the right people though, because that's another important thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's real easy to get caught up in dumb shit and like be around the wrong people, because it's like, how do you know if they're the wrong people? Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's also like a fine balance of just being comfortable being by yourself, but then like wanting to be around people when you get to. And so there's like all aspects of that, really just my health, my mental health, because I feel like that's going to bring me back to a place of creating wherever I'm meant to be creating. Cause like I could become a photographer. I could become a musician. I could keep making YouTube videos. I could just do podcasts. I could do anything. I just don't even know what I really want to do, because I got to like work on my health first to even be in a place of like knowing that. So that's really where I'm at right now.
Well, it's so good that you put yourself first, man. Like that's a big thing.
I like that. One thing that I did want to go just a little bit back to, because it's something that we want to know about, is, so you said that like the billionaire kid, he reached out to you on Instagram, right? So how did that work for you? Because obviously you've got 1 million of followers. You got probably, I wouldn't even begin to know how many DMs in your inbox, in your requests. Like, how does that work? Do you filter through? And
how do you see my message?
How do people get to the top of your list to get in front of you? Or do you filter it, or does someone filter it for you? How does it work?
I honestly don't know. I literally just randomly will look in there. And like, sometimes I just be like, oh, like, what are people saying? And then I go into like you have like top requests. I don't know if that's on everyone's account, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have like the top requests, and then you have like
all requests.
It just says send requests.
Yeah.
Or something, or normal, whatever the hell it is. And so I just like randomly scroll through there sometimes. And then I think you honestly just had like, you have like, what on Instagram?
Like 50,000 followers. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see that too.
Yeah.
No, bro, but like, I mean, compared to like the normal amount of DMs, but like, so I mean, the 50,000, and then you had a clean profile picture that always catches my eye. I don't know. I just randomly clicked on it, and that's the thing, bro. I don't even know why. Like, dude, this is so unlike me, bro. Like, to even be doing this, like, it really is. I'm looking back at our DM right now. You DM me in November, and then I DM'd you back in February.
I know, yeah. And that's why I was a shock to me. I was like, how the fuck? Like, what? I was like, yes. Like,
yeah, the day you DM'd, Kye messaged me, and he was just like, because I was actually...
I lost it.
Yeah, I was traveling for work, and then he come back, and he was like, man, he just messaged me. Yeah, see? How good is that?
Yeah.
That's so random. I actually don't know how I saw your message, bro.
Yeah.
This is like, that's funny. Yeah, that's like 3 months after you DM me. I don't know how I saw your message, honestly. Maybe I was like real bored, and I was in like top requests, and I must have like scrolled.
This is what you call life, put certain things in place for a certain reason. Like, it's just like an opportunity.
It all happens.
I was granted an opportunity to have you on the podcast. So I'm grateful for that, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Oh, that's actually so random. I genuinely don't know. I don't remember how I saw your DM, bro.
Well, at least you saw it, so thanks.
I might have been a little faded at the time.
Yeah. Shit.
But here we are, bro. That's actually crazy. Yeah. And then even that, a month after I had replied to your DM, now we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so like adding on to that, how did you go with it once your social started to blow up? Like, what was that like for you? Because obviously, you would have started to get a following. Everyone wanted to reach out. Obviously that you started meeting more famous people and sort of going through the success. What was it like when, your socials started to blow up? Did you find that it was like you got sucked into that I'm now famous kind of thing, or was it like a slow progression?
I feel like it was like I immediately just like kind of had my like guard up. Like I was like, all right, like what's going on a little bit, but also like coming from like being a young kid, I feel like I was like super used to like not really being like cool. Like I was like the scooter kid and like a bunch of random stuff. So then I just feel like it was also like really exciting. And I feel like you can't not have those like kind of feelings like, oh shit, like what's going on? But then I also feel like I definitely did have my guard up, because then I had like a lot of people wanting to be involved. And so, yeah, I think like a mixture of both, to be honest. But also I feel like I was really good, and I tried really hard of like not letting it get to my head, which is also hard because it does, like, no matter what, it does at some degree or level. So I just really feel like it was a balance of like both.
Oh, that's pretty good because some people I think they just get like sucked in way too quick and like it just goes straight.
And I did, bro. I can't even lie and act like I didn't. Like I for sure did. Like I've done the LA shit. I've done like I've done all that stupid shit because you get trapped in that ego shit. Even if you think you're not, it's like you are, because it's like, what the fuck is anything? Like, we're all just like a person, and like that's it. And then you think like, oh, now like socially I'm like growing my brand and I'm like got to keep it moving and keep it going and like just shit like that. So I feel like, like I can't even lie and act like I didn't, because you 100% do. Like no matter who you are, it changes you at some level or degree.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it is. And I think
I'm trying to unwind that shit.
Yeah, I think the interesting part too is that like it's been very fortunate, and obviously you've structured it the right way, that you've kind of stayed in the forefront the whole way, like from when you started YouTube to now. You know, like a lot of people, they might start, blow up, and then they just kind of like, you never hear from them ever again. You know, like movie stars do it all the time, and you think, oh, well, I haven't heard a song from that person in so long, this, that. But you've been very fortunate to kind of stay on top of it the whole way through. You know, you've always been making videos. You know, you've never just disappeared for 2 years and then been like, oh, hey, I'm back, I'm gonna do something cool now, like everyone look at me again. Like I feel like, do you feel like that contributed to a lot of this realization that you're having now of like, I need a break, I'm finally just burning at the candle at both ends?
I think it's just like when you get sucked into that and then you get the opportunity to like do everything you ever dream of, then you got to like make up new things. And then you're like, okay, well, then you start looking at other people that maybe you think are like more successful than you. So then you're like, or you think they are, and then, okay, they're doing this. And then, so then you think, okay, I got to do that. And then you do that. And then you're like, all right, now you got to make up new goals, and then new goals, and then new goals, and then new goals. And then for me, I just like literally found myself feeling so empty. And like, I felt like I had to keep this like train moving, because like at some point your brain just gets empty, but you're like, no, I got to keep it going. So then I was just scratching for answers in like all the wrong places. And then I think that then led me to like having too much time to think. And then you need to find answers for all those thoughts. And then you get maybe in that process too, you get a little more honest about how you actually feel, because you realize the actions you're making. And then I was just like, all right, some change needs to be made. And like, bro, honestly, like I was just like super suicidal, like not even gonna lie. Like, and I was just like, bro, I should not be feeling this way. And like, so then I was just like, all right, I finally at a certain point, I was just like super fucking honest with myself. And I was literally like, I need to figure this shit out. And then so I've been on this journey. Cause like, it was just, you constantly feel like you got to one up yourself. And then you scratch for answers. And then, cause literally you're like, all right, where do the answers come from? And then you just like find ways to find answers. And then those are maybe not the, real things. And then like, it's just a snowball, like it's a massive snowball. And then at a certain point it knocks you over, or at least that's how it felt for me.
Yeah. Wow.
Did you have the support from your friends when you went through all this stuff? Or did you shut down? I shut down when I went through my stuff. I just want to know it's obviously not between me and you now, but anyways, the question I want to ask is, when you went through your shit, did you allow your friends in to help you, or did you shut everyone out?
I think that like I literally kind of started overthinking a lot of my friendships and realizing like reflecting too hard on a lot of like people and like what they do and their actions and stuff. So like I definitely shut down like a lot, but then like I would be like super honest. Like my mom has like always been there through this whole dark period. Like she's been really like right there, and I've been like super honest with her about all that stuff. But even like I definitely feel like I was even so good at hiding it for so long that like no one even knew like to do something or how to do something. And then like, like I have all this pressure that I'm like explaining to other people, and they're like, I feel like it was kind of both. Like, I feel like I shut down to myself so that no one would even know. But then it was just like at a point I was just like, all right, I started like telling, well, not everyone, but I started telling like my mom and maybe my close friends, and like my best friend Maverick. I have like two really best friends, like Jake Angeles and Maverick Leonard.
Yeah.
And I would like hide even stuff from like Maverick because in my head, Maverick views me a certain way.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I've always been whatever kind of person. So I finally got to a point where I just like also wanted to realize what's important in my life. So I would start reaching out to my friends and just, I wanted to know how they were actually doing because I was feeling this way. So is anyone else kind of doing it? And so I would like ask Maverick, and I was like super open to him for the first time, and he had like never seen me like that. And then so literally like a week and a half ago, he drove out here from Texas where he lives now. And then he stayed with me for like a month, not a month, sorry, like 3 days. He stayed with me for 3 days. And I was thinking about 3, so 3-0. But he stayed with me for 3 days. And then we just had like a really great time. And he's cool because he helped me get out of my head. Like, just, we got to do normal shit. Cause I was also just so away from people. So I definitely feel like I shut down like more than anything.
Yeah.
But then I've started realizing the importance of like talking honestly to the right people and doing the right things and all that.
Yeah. Fucking oath. That's
like
sick.
it.
You know, I think that would be one of the coolest moments, even business wise, for having such a large YouTube channel and being like so influential and stuff. I feel like the cool thing about that is, and I want to know, did it open a fuck ton of doors for you meeting other creators and other famous people because your following started getting huge? That's how like you keep excelling, because like people want to start doing stuff with you and like collabs. And like, did you have all that happen, or did you just blow up just on your own first, and then, or did what? Let me rephrase my whole question. Was there ever a moment where you were like, okay, this is fucking sick, I've got to meet this person because I am who I am? Like, was it ever a moment?
I get to, or I have to?
Like you had to, like, no, like you get to, like, were you excited? Like, holy fuck, like I met Jake Paul because I am who I am. Like, you know what I mean? Like shit like that. Or like, oh my God, I got to meet this person because, you know, like I am in the position because of my YouTube channel. Like, or do you just feel like you don't? Like,
I feel like I've only ever been a fan of like one person, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then also it's weird, bro, because like I was at such a weird point with YouTube where like the Paul brothers were both like Logan was watching my vlogs to understand how to start YouTube.
That's cool.
And then Jake Paul was coming to me asking for merchandising advice. And he was like copying all the trends I was making up, and like we were hanging out all the time. And then so I feel like with none of the like the social media creators, I was ever like, oh, I like gotta meet this guy. I'm trying to think, there's gotta be someone. Like I was really excited when I met Smosh, like because like that was like first gen YouTuber. Like I did a video with Anthony Padilla on his new channel where he was like interviewing like new YouTube kids. And I was like, honestly, like I was stoked to meet him. So that's funny because he's Smosh.
Yeah.
But like, I think that on like the backside of that, I was like definitely very specific and like calculating who I should be around, because I have a pulse on like the scene and like what's going on. And I think everyone in the space is like that for sure. So like I was really out here on like a marketing campaign for myself. Like just my thought process was like, when I was like 12 in scootering, I was like a beginner amateur scooter rider. And I always had like as many followers on Instagram as like all the pros for like no reason, bro. Like, well, not for no reason, but like I would purposely do shout out for shout out with like anyone who had the same amount of followers as me. And so like, I don't know. I always put myself on that, like kind of like that pedestal with them, with like the followers. Cause obviously like that was a meaningful thing in scootering the same way it is today, like with certain people, if you think in that area. But like when I started YouTube, then my thought process was, I remember like the older scooter riders, like kind of being like, damn, I can't fucking stop seeing this kid. Like, what the fuck? Cause I'm just like a random kid. Like I had no business like always being shouted out by all these pro scooter riders and all this shit. And they're just like, who the fuck is this kid? Like, he's literally like an amateur. He's not even that good. And they like, I remember someone commenting that. So then my thought was like, all right, I'm going to make it so anyone on YouTube can't not see me. Like, this was my first thought when I was like 15. I went out and I was collabing with like More J Stu, Tanner Brongart, this dude named Sean, who like I was a fan of because he was in Casey Neistat's videos, and I really wanted to get to Casey Neistat. Yeah. And like actually Casey Neistat, there's one. Casey Neistat for sure, bro. Yeah. 100%. So yeah, I was on a campaign, but like kind of for myself. But that answered my own question. 100% Casey Neistat, bro. I was the biggest fan of Casey Neistat, bro. I took so much inspiration from him when I was a little kid, and I got to go film a vlog with him at his studio when I was like 17.
That's hectic.
And I was like, bro, I was so hyped on that. But yeah, and then you do it, and then you're like, oh, okay, he's just a guy. And then it's like, all right, what the fuck?
Yeah, I feel like that happens for sure. Like it's not a don't meet your hero moment, but it's just more of a like you come to that realization
like
because
the excitement settles. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, you put them on the pedestal. It's like you hang out with them.
You ever heard about like businessmen like in movies where they'll get you to like cheat on your wife and then they'll use it to like hold it over your head or something.
Yeah.
Like extortion.
Have you ever seen that like a movie, bro? Yeah. So like I literally would be like hella sus on people.
No. What are your intentions?
No, I literally, so I hella kept it like, I feel like I kept it real most like the whole time. Like
you did, man.
Like I could be, I really feel like I did. Yeah. Like I've never really been worried about nothing. And that's why I've always like tried to stay in my own lane. And like, I ain't really tripping. Like some people are real desperate and like try really hard. And obviously I've been desperate. Like who hasn't?
Yeah.
But like, I feel like I've never let myself get like, all right, I'm finna do some stupid shit right now.
Like, so aside from being in jeopardy, has anything ever happened while filming, like, you know, like you crashed a car when you're doing a car video or someone's broken their leg, or has anything bad like that happened when you're filming?
You were in a car crash, weren't you?
Yeah. But like on camera or like off camera?
Well, just like, you know, you go out and you're filming, you're doing a skit or you're doing a vlog or whatever, and, you know, something's happened while you're filming. Obviously, you might not have posted it, but... You know, has anything like that happened where someone's got hurt or injured or you know, things have kind of taken a turn for the worst?
I keep touching my lips, bro, because I was in the sun like all day yesterday. My lips are so chapped.
Oh, that's all right.
But so like, I just wanted to say that. But like, because in this video, I've touched my lips probably so much.
Don't overthink it.
But you can't even tell me that. I don't think that like most of it's like been on video. Like, my friend broke his back on my channel.
Jesus. Broken
leg. I'm trying to think of though, like something's definitely happened where we're like, oh, probably don't put that in the vlog.
Because I feel like you guys get up to some pretty sketchy shit sometimes, and I feel like surely at some point,
Bro, I watched a video yesterday and I literally was like, fuck, why? And it was the video where you're jumping a motorbike over the Lambo. And I was like, I said, man, like just...
Yeah, I watched the compilation. It's like 1 hour of like the craziest stuff.
Your Lamborghini, it was at your house and you let someone jump over it with a motorbike. Just a random jump, just onto your driveway. And I was like, fuck, imagine like if it just didn't happen how it was supposed to. Just rise on the roof.
See, I don't even think about that. I feel like that was chill. Like I knew he was going to clear it.
I think it's got the love Lamborghinis. I'm like, fuck me, man. What if a rock flings off the bike and hits it?
Because the craziest part is like he does it, and then in the video you're just like, nah, like you can get closer. And he's like, nah, I'm going too high. I can definitely get closer. And I'm like, oh my god, what is going to happen? He's going to land on the roof. What the fuck? That's like $500,000. What is happening? Like it's just.
Man, I'm trying to think of something good that like we couldn't put in the video.
Do you find that when you're out,
no broken bones? I would just say like I would probably just say like if we're out partying having a good time, that's just like
personal.
I'll even go out of my way to make sure no one like would film me or anything like that.
Course. Yeah, definitely. Do you find that when you are out partying that you find that a lot of people, you know, whether it be girls specifically, are trying to sort of slide into DMs or sort of be around you because of who you are? Like you get a lot of that happening when you're out in public?
Well, not even out in public, just in general.
Oh yeah. Like you're partying with your mates and then
social setting, sure. Yeah, I mean, I've gone through my hoe phase for sure already. And like, I don't know, like definitely girls, like there's like a weird, that whole thing you hear about like, oh, clout gets you girls. I mean, that's obvious that like, that's like a real thing.
Yeah.
And I just feel like you can then use that how like at your free will, just like knowing it. But I always kind of got uncomfortable by that because like, I'm honestly like a lover boy. Like I really do like, I don't know, but also, you know, you like to have fun.
You want to do the cute shit, go on dates, do all the stuff, I'd rather go on dates and go be in the hoe phase, like it's better.
Yeah, because I kind of always saw it as like, you meet some girls and they're like, or they kind of just think about you as a Pokemon card. I mean, even like girls like...
That's such a fucking good way. I'm going to clip that for sure. That is so fucking good.
No, they literally do, bro. They literally do. And then the funniest thing is is when her ex is a fan of you, bro.
Oh, fuck.
Bro,
That's like,
I've had that happen twice.
Jeez.
bro, it's like, it sounds horrible, but it's like the easiest that way. Because like, you don't have to, they're literally the one that wants you anyways.
Yeah.
But that's like always a funny situation, I feel like. But then afterwards, like, bro, we could honestly get real on this shit for a second.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
one time these girls, like, they came over to my house and we did our thing, and then they just dipped. And I felt like I got like, you know when
Wow.
no, but you know when you hear about like the guy does
the
that?
guy
just leaving,
yeah.
And then like I was, it's actually funny, bro. I'll be honest. Like I was like low key, like I was like trying to cuddle, like, and then they're just like, oh yeah, like now, like I was like, they're like, nah, like we got an Uber. It's like gonna be here. It's like 4 a.m.
Oh
and I was like,
my God.
I was like, oh
Right.
no, I was like, yeah, no, for sure. I was like, yeah.
Low
Fucking
key
heartbroken.
cut as fuck.
Yeah.
God.
Mate, this girl's just rolled in, got a quick pic in the background, dipped, and she's just like, oh, I'm famous now. Fucking hell, man. That's insane.
No, literally, bro. It was honestly funny. Like, it's like the same scenario when like you hear about the guy just wants to get his nut,
Yeah.
and then he did, and it was like, wait, damn it, and then you kind of like let them win. So then I feel like, you know, I'm not so into that, like, cause I actually like, I don't know, I feel like I'm a lover boy a little bit, like I like.
Yeah.
So then that was like a perspective. I was like, oh damn. And then I was like, oh, imagine how girls feel, bro.
Literally.
Wow.
Role reversed. Fuck.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that was fun. That was funny. That was like a few years back, but that was honestly pretty funny.
That's insane. Do you find that you get to have a lot of feel-good moments with your success? Like, you know, like you said, with the fans and stuff like that? Because obviously, I mean, like you're the person, like you could walk down the street or go to the skate park and, you know, the scooter kids know who you are, you know, and you can take a photo with that kid or sign his board or do something, and you're like that's going to make this kid's day, like his life, like that's everything for him. Do you find that you get a lot of feel-good moments like that?
Yes, 100%. I mean, like whenever I meet the right people, that's always like, I feel like that's always the case. Cause for me, like I had my own experiences of that as a kid, where like I'm like super good friends with like all the pro scooter riders like I looked up to like so much. And like I was even with one of them the other day. His name's Raymond Warner. And like I remember when I was 12, like I had all sorts of family problems at home, and like the skate park wasn't an escape for me. And I was also like, I've always been like a shy person. Like I really am like kind of non-confrontational, but also not at the same time. Like I like don't really care to tell someone when they're kind of pissing me off and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just like didn't want to be the annoying kid, because I also was able to like pay attention to when there's annoying kids, but I was also extremely annoying. You know what I mean? So this guy Raymond Warner was at the skate park, and he's like one of the best biggest pros, whatever. And I was like sitting there, I was like trying to act like cool, like I wasn't gonna bother him and shit. And then he came up to me and he like talked to me and he gave me knuckles. And then like I just remember that was like the coolest moment when I was a little kid. Like it was just like hella validating, and like I remember how it felt. So like I always try to go out of my way to like ask a couple extra questions, and so they remember that like we actually talked or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So I really feel for those like the little homies like that. That's what was cool being at the scooter contest yesterday, because I was super in my head and people wouldn't even think that. Like I was anxious to even go and have to be around people. But then I'm there, and then these little kids are coming up to me like anxious because they're like, holy fuck, like I've always wanted to meet you. And then like it's just lit, because then I gotta have a normal conversation and like just chat to them about where they're from, or are they excited for the contest, maybe give them some like tips for their runs and stuff like that. So and then like that's like always the coolest moment for me, is probably specifically with scooter kids, because like I know how that felt when I was the kid. And then now it's like, oh shit, I'm the pro. But then it's also like I'm the YouTuber. So I feel like I have those moments a lot.
That's such a nice way of, I guess, answering that question, because like I feel like you said, like you take the time out to ask some extra questions and stuff, because you know a lot of people, like they might just walk down the line, hand out a couple of high fives, and you know that kid takes it away. Kid takes away and he's like, yeah, like we touched hands, but like you said, like you take the extra time out to sort of, make it more of an interaction than anything. which is a really big thing.
Because it's honestly like selfishly, like it will be like equally as good and fun for me as it would be for them, and they wouldn't even realize that.
Yeah.
But obviously I've had my fair share of like, I'm in a bad mood and I just keep it short or something.
Of course.
Like
Yeah.
everyone will.
That's just being
But
human.
bro, like there was this one time, bro, and I feel hella bad when that happens, bro. Because there was this one time I was in Australia and I was getting lunch and I was just in my head and I was eating my food. And then the only problem I ever had when I would meet fans, when I kind of like first started all this stuff, this was like 2018 or something, was I would or supporters, I don't even like to call them fans, like even like cliche as that shit sounds, but like I was eating and I always said like, oh, if I'm eating, like I hope, like I just don't like when someone comes up to me, like I just want to finish my food type of thing, which I'm already over, to be honest. Like who the fuck cares? Like I'll just take a selfie or something. But like I was eating and this mom came up to me and I was also with a girl at the time. So then I was also like, all right, like, you know, like, hold on. Like, I'm almost done with my food. I'm like half to eat on my food. We were just talking about something. I was like, if you could just wait like 1 second. Sorry. Cause she asked for a photo. And, so I was like, oh yeah, just like 1 second. And then she got like snotty with me. And then she like kind of just like walked away and like got in her car and left. And then I was like, oh damn. And then I thought about that shit like all day. And I was like, oh, like stop taking the fucking photo. Like that was really stupid, blah, blah, blah. But then I'm like, no, like I should be able to eat my food. But then
yeah,
like,
you get to be a human too.
No, but it's like, wow, but like, what does it really matter? Like, so I've had my share of like those kind of moments and stuff. Also, like that happened. That's everyone though.
That's
I feel like, you know.
I feel bad, man. We've taken up definitely a lot more time than I said.
Yeah.
I feel so bad.
I don't know what time it is. Holy shit, has it been 2 hours?
Yeah, 2 hours on this, man. That's why we've just been shooting
Yeah,
shit.
that's the best part. Like,
yeah.
Bro, that's crazy. It hasn't even felt like it.
I know, right? How good.
So good.
Seems sick, man. Well, I might end with this because I don't want to take up your time. I feel bad. I know how much like people value time.
Bro, I'm not even tripping, bro. You're good.
What a fucking legend.
Man,
just stop being so. You're just such a good guy.
And you know what? just
I haven't even looked at the time one time.
Just to add in a side point here, I hope that a lot of your fans, you know, not for obviously our game, but for your own. I hope a lot of your fans listen to this because I feel like after this, it might help you with the coming back.
Yeah.
You know, having your explanation, talking about it, and people, you know, people finally listening and getting to experience a little bit more of the real you. You know what I mean? As opposed to, you know, because there's nothing that says you have to specifically come back and say, hey,
this is what happened.
Yeah, this is what happened. You know, like this sort of an interaction is kind of like I feel like it's a good, like it's been helpful, and I hope that it helps you, and I hope that all of the listeners that listen help in sort of trying to think of the right word. You know, I kind of hope that it helps with the comeback, if that makes sense.
I think it will, man.
Better words, yeah.
It's kind of like an entree. This is like an entree, you know.
Yeah, then
the main's coming.
That's it. Yeah.
Like this will give the fans a bit of sense of what's going on the last month and what's been happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's.
And also, just hopefully, people will be able to do some inward thinking themselves.
Man, you've given me a lot of realizations.
If they feel like they need it. I don't know. I also feel like I be going crazy and I think too much, and I don't know if everyone's like that.
They're not, man. But like you doing it is what's needed. That's the thing. People need to realize that you need, like, in order to change, you need to self-reflect, and in order to do that, you need to jump off and stop worrying about everyone else. Like, you just need to do you.
That's very true.
And if the fans want to keep watching the videos and they want the content to keep coming out, then it's in their best interest to want you to take a break.
Yeah, that's right. And the best people will wait regardless. Like, it doesn't matter how long you take a break for, because they're not here to be like, oh, well, I'm only here to watch Tanner do this. It's like, well, I'm here to watch Tanner because I enjoy his content and I like him as a person. Like, that's what it's for. They're there for you, not for what you're doing. And if they are there for just what you're doing, then, well, that's not really a fan. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
Well.
And I feel like I don't even know when I will come back or if I will.
Yeah.
I might just quit.
Shit.
No, I'm playing. I'm probably not going to quit. Like,
well, that was a weird ending note.
Yeah.
No, I just don't even know what the future be holding. I'm just trying to get my freaking head right.
Yeah.
And the health right.
Oh, you're doing it, man.
And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly, bro. And exactly. I feel like I'm just shedding a lot of my less favorite parts of myself.
Yeah. So you can be better for everyone else, which is great.
And props to you for doing that. It's huge.
So the question that I wanted to add in at the end was, what's some advice you'd give up and coming YouTubers?
I just gave this to a kid the other day because this is like what I'm going through is it's like, number one, it's like, you got to do what makes you happy, but not on like a surface level shit. Cause that's literally my like saying, but like, I've even had to think about that shit way more is it's like, literally, I firmly believe that every single person on this planet has their own purpose of being here.
Yeah.
And we all like affect each other's experience on earth. So if you are living in a place where you're just like comparing yourself to other people and you're just adding to that, like exactly what we talked about, what I feel like I had been doing is it's like, I'm not providing any value to anyone because I'm just like, maybe I'm making some people smile, but like, I'm not living my unique divine purpose. And I think people need to realize that in not comparing themselves to someone, it's like, you might be like a dude at a bakery and you might love making bread and you might make bread for some guy that comes in this morning and he might eat that bread and be full because it was so good. And then he might go to his job and he might make technology that saves someone's life. I don't know. That's a crazy example, but it's like, if you weren't passionate about like making the bread, you wouldn't have been able to impact that guy's life, which you wouldn't even know about because he left and you didn't hear about it and you didn't even know you did that for him. But like, I think that the world would be in a much better place if just everyone was more comfortable in their own skin, which is like, that's why I'm literally trying to do this for myself, because who am I one to talk if I'm not even actively really trying to pursue that? So I think number one, you got to do that for yourself in making content. But at the same time, like, I can't lie and act like that's the only way. It's like, you have to put in the absolute fucking hours, the same way I did, the same way any YouTuber you watch does, because there's kind of this thing sold that it's like, oh no, guys, like, just like do what you love every day. It's like, you think I necessarily don't love like having to do all this self-work. Like, it's a lot of fucking work, but it's like, I literally want to be a better person because this is my job. And so it's like, not even just on the self-work, it's like, you got to study the game and you got to know what's up and you got to know why certain things are working and you got to be up to date with what's going on. But then there's like this weird fine line, which I'm learning of like, okay, you got to know what's going on, but then not compare yourself to those people in the way that when you go to produce your content, it's like a reflection of theirs in a way. You know what I mean? Like,
authentic.
You can take bits and pieces from everyone, but like, just stay true to yourself. Cause that's where it all starts. Cause that's why anyone gets popular, was because like they were true to themselves in the beginning and they're doing something unique now. It's like, if you want to be a new it boy or it girl or a new somebody, it's like, you got to do something different first and foremost. But on top of that, understand the game and put in the fucking hours. If that's really what you love. A lot of people fall in love with the idea of like, oh, these YouTubers make so much money. And it's like, that's the wrong start. Like, do you love making YouTube videos? Yes or no? First and foremost, like, do you love being on camera? Yes or no? Like, do you love editing? I see so many people want to be YouTubers and then they get a fucking editor and they like don't actually give a fuck about, is this one of you guys?
No. I'm just saying, like, I'm laughing because you're people who start, but they don't see the extra shit that comes with it.
Oh yeah, straight up, bro. Like literally, if you, I know so many friends like that are start YouTube and they're like, oh, I need to get an editor, bro. It's like, how are you not sitting there like geeking out over your own shit? Like you're not meant to do this, like quite simply. But there's a lot of smart people that fucking hack this shit and it will work that way too. But it's like, if you don't love what you're doing, it just ain't gonna have the outcome you want it to have. It's like,
you gotta love every part of it.
It's like straight up. So I think those are all really important aspects of it. Like, you gotta love every little inch of it. Cause if I wanted to be a pro scooter rider because like I thought it would like get me anywhere in life, like I would have never also gotten to here. Like being a scooter rider was like the perfect example of this. Like, every day I obsessed over it. I looked up to pro scooter riders more than any celebrity and more than any whatever, because I actually just love scootering. Like, I knew that scootering wasn't like a long lasting career. And like, but every day that's all I obsessed over. And because of that, I was able to become, really well known in that community. And I was real damn good on the thing. And I was able to then do YouTube, which I also love making videos. I love sitting there editing my shit. So that was like, I was unique to myself and I loved my craft and I spent every waking hour of the day doing it. And I will make sacrifices in my real life because that's how much I actually care about it. And if that means breaking up with my, a girlfriend that I just don't think aligns with like what's important in my life, like that's just me. Like I take things to like an extreme. Like I really do love this, and I think it's like a really unique opportunity. And I'm also finally understanding how much of a blessing it is for the first time in my life. Like it really is, and you gotta like treat it like that.
Yeah.
There's my 10x talk.
Mate,
I like it.
That was all real ass advice. Like literally, 100%. That's like real ass advice. Because that's like the deep shit that no one even thinks about. Because everyone's so stuck in like this world of like, oh, get rich and get this car and do this and this and this and this. But you don't even realize you're literally learning all those goals from other people. And that kind of goes back to the first thing I made is like everyone's got their own goals, and that's where I'm trying to get back to is like, what the hell are my goals? Like not because so-and-so bought a mansion and so-and-so has this, so I want to one up him. But it's like, it's also really great to be competitive. Like that's a really important aspect of like life. Like I'm a really competitive person. So that's how I'm sure you both are. Like that's important in like being successful. Like you got to believe in your shit so much that you think it's actually better than the other people's. So you create it that way. So it's like, fine line of being obsessed with yourself and like not being a narcissist. You know what I mean?
Hey, man.
But like that's the truth of that shit.
That's
bro.
what
like,
it takes.
Like you're your number one fan. Like you have to be your number one fan. And I feel like I just did not feel that way about myself in the last few years because like I was clearly not being true to myself, and that's why it worked for me in the beginning. Like I was real true to myself, and I was doing everything that I just said.
And now look what's happened. You're pulling yourself back to then be a better version of that.
Yeah, and either way, it's going to be great because I'm just like, there is no real thing about life. Like you literally could be equally as happy being a fisherman, doing whatever the heck. Like it's all our own perception of like how big we want to make our egos. Yeah. So it's like also just understanding that it's like you're not going to get to a point like where you're a massive YouTuber and feel any happier than you are at your happiest, now where you are in life. So it's like if you set the wrong expectations in life, I heard a saying, it was like the man who loves walking will walk a lot farther than the man who just wants to get to the destination.
How good.
You get that? Like if you just love walking, you're going to like how we've been just loving talking. We've just been talking. It's been 2 hours. I didn't even realize it. Yeah. But if I was like, fuck, like, all right, I'm going to give them 1 hour. Like, and then I'm like looking at my phone every 2 seconds. I like know what minute it is and I know how much longer I have. And then I'm, you know what I mean? Like we might shove shit in there or like rush a conversation or instead of just literally talking. And now we've had a great conversation that maybe a couple people listened to and loved it. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's same kind of thing with like doing the YouTube shit. Like if it's not meant for you, it's not meant for you. Maybe you're meant to be a fucking baker and make bread.
And nothing's wrong with that because you got to think everyone needs to get, and the one thing I want to quickly say at the end.
Well, there's no difference.
Yeah. One thing people need to realize too is that not everyone is destined to be an entrepreneur, a multimillionaire, a YouTube star, a TikToker. We still need doctors, nurses, lawyers. Like
you're so right.
People need to realize that it's okay to do a normal job too. You don't have to be this because someone else is that. It's just the expectations a lot of people have.
No, literally.
Yeah.
But then it's also like funny on that. It's like, if you can like let go of that, like maybe some people listening, maybe put that on themselves. Like if you can like let go of that, you'll actually find what your purpose is. And I'm not going to say like, I guarantee that's going to lead you to being a millionaire, but you'll be like 10x times successful in life because you'll be like aligned with what you're doing and you will be more receptive to like maybe receiving that kind of thing in the future. But that's a hard thing for people to like conceptualize because like then their mind is still stuck at like, okay, well I need to do what I love to then be successful. So, but it's like, no, like, just do what you love and like whatever's meant to come to you will come to you.
Yeah. Don't focus on being successful. Like just focus on doing what you love and then everything will flow into place.
And that's what I'm trying to get at. I had so much pressure on myself of like, I got to do this and be this. And then I found myself making decisions that like weren't actually me and brought me to a really dark place and like trying to play something I simply didn't have to play. Yeah. And I don't know, again, I'm not acting like I figured nothing out. Like I'm real early in this process, but I'm really excited to see where this all like takes me in the future. Cause it will be where I'm supposed to be kind of thing.
100%.
Yeah.